saw this yesterday and like can't stop thinking about the applications elsewhere, but this idea of sending to a similar area, and at first you look at this through principles and you're like, well, this violates good in air quotes, good spacing or perfect spacing. And like a lot of people are starting to get enamored with that. Um, Time and place for everything, context matters, and what are you doing in terms of like the intention behind doing something like this? And without knowing the true intention of what Omaha's doing here. Um, I linked that relationism article, and like some of when I saw this clip, I started to think about and be reminded of that relationism article. If you have 20 minutes, it's one of the best things I've ever read. Um, in terms of just like thinking about principles and thinking about them differently, and they talk about violating, spacing on offense, tight overloads in an area. Um, and that can be beneficial if you can train and be prolific inside of those like really tight spaced numerical advantages. So, like, my thought is you send two over here, and like, if the defense is looking at this, which maybe he can see it, he's definitely clued into what's going on over here. Maybe he doesn't see it as a threat because, like, two guys are going to one area, they're overlapping jobs. We talk about it a lot from like a defensive perspective, so like, I don't know if that thought's going through his head, but that was the one that was going through my head. So maybe this isn't a threat. But you immediately create this 2-on-1 in an area. And like contributing to that, obviously, is this player's patience to draw his check as far out as he'll go. So this obviously creates more space for this 2-on-1 to happen. So like, have to credit this guy as well. It's not just this movement for this movement's sake, it's this movement in relation to what's going on with this 1-on-1. So, draws him all the way out. All of this space is created on the flank, and then we immediately walk ourselves into a 2-on-1. Shot ready, one times this puck, and then we have this guy trying to create a numerical advantage at the net, beat his check to an area if there's a rebound. This player is puck focused and doesn't see this movement behind the head. If you're staring at your check's head, that's a go. You can attack space. You're not going to be seen. You're probably going to gain a step into this area. No rebound, but his stick was available and free for that brief second. He was reactive because he didn't see him, and he's just slashing instead of being into this guy underneath his hands and aware that he's there. So, pretty simple, but I'm obviously obsessed with what's going on. With this movement, just violating spacing, violating good spacing, a little bit counterintuitive, but when you think about it, immediately creates 2-on-1. That's it.